Very good evening to all of you. Thanks for tuning in to the Sunday edition of the Urban Debate. I'm Afrida Rahman Ali. Yes, the focus is on the battleground West Bengal. We are going to look at this intensely fought elections. Two mega rallies were held today. The Prime Minister was in Kolkata addressing a huge rally, and Mamata Banerjee, on the other hand, was in Siliguri. Mamata claims the women voters are with her, and she attacked the Modi government for the LPG price hike, whereas the Prime Minister, like I said, descended on Mamata's home turf and challenged the incumbent government. Also inducted the hero of yesteryear's Mithun Chakrabarti, shared the stage with him. TMC pitches Mamata Banerjee as the daughter of the soil who is up against outsiders. So that rhetoric is being used once again by the TMC. Prime Minister Modi, of course, has raised the issue of development, talking about Asol Paribartan and Sonar Bangla. Mamata Banerjee tom-tommed her contribution over the last 10 years. So it's game on, viewers, in more ways than one. It's going to be a very, very interesting contest. Intensely fought, like I said, and this is an election that will take place over 8 phases, starting from the 27th of March to the 6th of April. 7.2 crore electorate will choose their representatives for 294 seats in the Bengal Assembly. Let me welcome my guests this evening. Dr. Indraneel Khan, spokesperson of the BJP, joining us. This evening also is Avijit Ghosal, beg your pardon, from he's the news editor from Money 9. Also Arpita Ghosh, Member of Parliament from the TMC, Member of Parliament of Rajya Sabha, joining us this evening. Thank you so much, all of you, for giving us your time. I'm going to go across to all of you with my questions, but before that, let's listen in to what the Prime Minister had to say and Mamata Banerjee's tirade in Siliguri as well.
आशोल परिवर्तन मतलब ऐसा बंगाल जहां लोगों को पलायन करने पर मजबूर न होना पड़े। आशोल परिवर्तन मतलब ऐसा बंगाल जहां व्यापार और कारोबार फले फूले, जहां ज्यादा से ज्यादा निवेश आए। आशोल परिवर्तन मतलब ऐसा बंगाल जहां 21वीं सदी का आधुनिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हो।
এসে শুধু বলেন বাংলায় পরিবর্তন হোগা। আরে বাংলায় পরিবর্তন হবে না, বাংলায় তৃণমূল কংগ্রেস থাকবে। পরিবর্তন দিল্লি में होगा, आपका जाना पड़ेगा। জানি না যতগুলো ইলেকশন হচ্ছে দেখে নিন, আগামী দিনে তো 5টা স্টেটে ইলেকশন আছে, 5টা ছক্কা খাবেন। তামিলনাড়ুতে হারবেন, কেরালায় হারবেন, আসামে হারবেন, বাংলায় হারবেন, সব কটাতে হারবেন।
Well, it's heartening, in fact, to see that for once you have this intense rhetoric over development. The Prime Minister has taken the Paribartan debate a step further and talks about real change, or Asol Paribartan, which the TMC believes is a borrowed term, since Paribartan was a catchphrase for the TMC to begin with. I want to go across to Arpita Ghosh first. Arpita Ghosh, to begin with, let's just at least agree to the fact that the TMC already has a track record to show, whereas BJP is, in an uncharted territory. It's untested. So, in some ways, don't you think the claims and promises made by the TMC will have to be substantiated with actual work that was done over the years, whereas BJP has that advantage of making promises which the TMC does not?
I don't think so, because you see, we are in Bengal for last 10 years, and TMC government, we have worked this Mamati Manusher Sarkar, we have done so many works. People of Bengal has already seen it. And the promises making by BJP right at this moment, we have seen this government at center since last 2014. And we have seen that all the promises have been failed. And see, now they are coming to Bengal and they are saying about employment. But you may remember that in 2014, before the election, this Prime Minister, he only promised that in every year, 2 crores employment will be done in India. But nothing has been done so far. And all the promises gone in vain. So in Bengal also, people are not stupid. They understand that this in center, with a central government in hand, this party hasn't done anything. And now they are coming to Bengal and they are trying to promise and trying to impress people with lot of lies. So in Bengal, Bengalis, they understand a bit. We are quite politically aware. And they understand that these promises will all go in vain if they come to the power. And, Bengal, of course, Mamata Banerjee, Bengal has seen Mamata Banerjee, and so far this election is going to be on development issues, which Mamata Banerjee last 10 years consistently done.
All right. So do you agree, Dr. Indranil Khan, at this point, of course, if I may ask you the same question, that the TMC has something to show over what it has done in the last 10 years, which the BJP doesn't?
TMC has a lot of things to show. She was speaking of track record of TMC. They started their track record with cheating the people through cheat funds. Then they started all these appeasement politics where people of one community was appeased specifically just for the sake of vote banks. As a result, we witnessed some horrible riots across West Bengal. Even trains, buses were burned, and no action was taken by the state government, even during the protest, in the name of protest against the CA. And then we found that there was corruption. Listen, I didn't interrupt you, Didi, so let me complete.
I'm not interrupting.
Regarding,
please carry on.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And the TMC's track record is that it has become a meritorious student of the left. While the left-run government gave West Bengal 1,80,000 crore rupees loan, just hanging over the head when they left, when the people took them away from power in 2011, and now West Bengal is sitting with a debt of 5 lakh crore loans. As a result, we don't have investment, we don't have jobs. Our youth have to go to other states just for just to fill their stomachs, leaving their elderly parents back at home. And as a result of this, there is a intense clamor for change. That's what people had expected, a lot of change in the name of Parivartan, and that's why they voted Mamata Banerjee to power in 2011. But what the change was that
Dr. Khan, what is your retort? What is your response to Mamata Banerjee's poll pitch on LPG price hike? This affects people in real terms in their immediate life. All the election rhetoric aside, what is BJP's response to what Mamata Banerjee has raised today in Siliguri?
As you know, regarding the petroleum prices, they have been deregulated, and it depends on the international market prices, and the government is is consciously looking into the implementation of GST. It has been holding talks with, it has also invited talks with the GST Council over this, and GST Council India is a federal democracy, and we have representation from various states in this, and every state, starting from the present West Bengal government to different other states, have to talk on this, because GST, because both the state government and the central government are responsible for the taxes on the petroleum products. And regarding this, and if they're so much concerned about the poor, they should immediately implement Pradhan Mantri Kishan Samman Nidhi. They had deprived the poor peasants of 12,000 rupees over the last 2 years, just because for the sake of politics.
No, when you make your tall promises of Asol Paribartan, it rings hollow. When it comes to the day-to-day budget of the common man, one can see that it's hurting his pockets to be shelling out that kind of money for something that's a bare necessity.
Petrol,
I want to bring in the analyst as well on the show, Avijit Ghosal. Okay, let's get a opinion, a perspective from an analyst who will hopefully give us an unbiased view on where do you see this in terms of the development issue? Who is ahead in that game? Because Mamata Banerjee believes that her welfare schemes to the poor will speak for her and will outshine or outscore BJP's powerful, election campaign that they have clearly launched in West Bengal.
Well, Afrida, thanks for inviting me to the show. Now, there are 2 points here. One is, as you mentioned,
Pleasure.
the Trinamool Congress. The Trinamool Congress has definitely a track record of 10 years. Now, that again remains a case of the glass being half full or half empty. While the BJP will definitely focus on the cut money, on the nephew, on the the real estate syndicates, whatever, and the lack of violence, the lack of democracy, violence. But on the other hand, Trinamool will definitely say, and it can say that to some effect, that definitely the Mamata Banerjee government has spun off a number of schemes which she very eloquently, places before the people in all the public meetings, that covers an individual from the cradle to the grave. Now, that's obviously there. Those schemes are there. And believe me, that actually really touches the life of a number of people. There is no denying the fact, on that count at least. But
Yes.
the real point
Right.
is whether the people will buy it. See, the BJP, the two factors actually are going to decide the Bengal polls this time. One is definitely the anti-incumbency.
Okay.
After being 10 years into the stuff, how Mamata Banerjee can manage anti-incumbency. And the second is polarization. Now, these two factors, I think, are the two macro
Okay.
factors that are going to decide the polls. Now, as you said, the development agenda is definitely more important than any of these two, because it's development for which people vote, for which people look forward to a new government, and for which people look forward to a party. Now, whether people take their development as something given that we have to move forward to, we have already had enough of Kanyasri, there is nothing new that Mamata Banerjee has to offer. Is that the view? Or is that the view that, well, we have seen how Narendra Modi government has produced Achhe Din for the all over the country, and so whether we will be skeptical about the goodness of that Achhe Din, and whether I will stay put with the party in power. That is the real question. So there are definitely some development that has happened. Some roads have definitely been built, hospitals have been built, a lot of schemes have been there, but simultaneously also there have been some issues of corruption. And so it now depends on how many, what you really make out of it. And there is another question that I like to place today.
Right. Indranil Khan wants to. Okay, please finish. Yes.
Okay, thanks. Now, after a long time, I saw a BJP leader, Mr. Narendra Modi, today not speech on the the polarization front. He didn't utter the word Ram today. I think he spoke for almost 70 minutes. I watched it. Barely, I missed a couple of minutes or something. I don't think he he uttered the word Ram. That I find a very welcome development. He perhaps replaced Ram Rajya with Sonar Bangla. So that's a clear development pitch and a very conscious decision, I think, to my mind, that he has made the difference. A. And B.
Yes, okay. So, but prior to that, the Home Minister, of course, actively played the Hindutva card. So, it's, I think, probably, like you said, a very conscious decision to balance it out. The Prime Minister uses the development page, but the other leaders, the other top brass of the BJP has gone around Bengal using the Hindutva card, which we all know how that also is part of the strategy. Like you said, polarization is a very important factor in this. But will the use of the Hindutva card really, weave magic for the BJP in Bengal? And let's have both the speakers give us their opinion on this. Arpita Ghosh, you first.
First of all, let me tell you one thing, that in Bengal, this kind of cards hardly matters. We have a track record of Bengali people. We don't really believe on these sort of cards. One. Secondly, development issue, why we are really keen on to that we have done, the analyst was referring that really the roads have done, the universities have been made, the hospitals have been done, the project like Konyasri, Rupasri. I was hearing a BJP friend, he was saying ki petrol, diesel, gas, whatever the price hike of that. So why don't Mamata Banerjee is giving Krishan Samman Nidhi and all that? So firstly, this petrol, diesel and gas high price hike,
Right.
it's really, it matters to the general people, everyday life. It really matters. And Mamata Banerjee has already
Yes.
worked with this
Yes.
Kanyasri, Jubasri, Rupasri, Shastro Shati. And we have also a very good project for farmers, and which Krishan Samman Nidhi also this government has accepted. And now I really don't know that BJP friend has to say something or not, because they are only concentrating on to 2 or 3 points. This is the corruption, the cheating people, and like this and that. And I have heard also Prime Minister today.
Okay,
And I
let me get a response from
got
Indranil Khan on this.
content onto that.
Okay, let's
He
take
doesn't-
it
he
point by
hasn't
point,
said-
otherwise we will lose track. Let's take it point by point. I'm going to Indranil Khan as well on this, that when you look at the campaigns today, you have to give it to Mamata Banerjee that she has taken an issue that is of immediate relevance. You see her with the cutout of the gas cylinder in the midst of people, raising the issue of the LPG cylinder hike. Whereas on your side, you have somebody like Mithun Chakrabarti inducted, sharing the stage with the Prime Minister, which many feel he's a spent force and it's not much beyond, just the optics that he can do for your party.
Per capita income of an West Bengal citizen is now lesser than the average Indian, what the average Indian earns per capita. And as a result, whatever you have done, the last 10 years of TMC rule and prior to that 34 years of communist rule, they have reduced us to beggars. And you are reducing us to beggars and then giving us arms. The people of West Bengal won't respect that. The people of West Bengal do want to earn with honor, and they just want to spend what they earn. And if you don't bring in more investment, if you don't give us jobs, if you don't provide a violence-free
No, I
environment,
was asking you that your party is resorting to a lot of optics when it comes to inducting just about everybody or anybody who wants to leave TMC. Most of them are disgruntled leaders, and the fact that you've taken them in is not because you want to accommodate all of them with tickets. It's only to perhaps, for, like I said, for the optics value, because how are you going to even accommodate all of them without ruffling feathers in your own party? So that's what I was trying to ask you, that while you use this factor that there is a depletion of force from the other side, all of them are not going to add any value to the BJP per se, will they? Let's talk about Mithun Chakrabarti, for instance.
of West Bengal, there has been a massive influx of cadres from all parties, TMC, CPM, and even the Congress party. And most of them want to join the Bharatiya Janata Party because the people of West Bengal, it is now echoing with what the people of West Bengal are thinking, because the people of West Bengal want to have their hopes on Narendra Modi ji and his style of governance, of transparency and honesty and accuracy and Atmanirbharata. And that's why the people of West Bengal think that BJP is the best option to opt for in the year 2021 assembly elections. And that's why you are talking to the people of West Bengal.
No, but
and
you didn't answer my question. Let me bring in Avijit Ghosal on where you stand on this, Mr. Ghosal, on the issue of the depletion of members of the TMC right up to the 11th hour of the elections. You had somebody like Dinesh Trivedi leaving the party, starting from Mukul Roy, of course, all the way to somebody like Suvendu Adhikari, which many believe is a huge loss for the party, since he was somebody who had catapulted the Nandigram movement and had made huge dividends for the party. And then, of course, coming to the Nandigram battle. But first, on the issue of how big a factor it would be for the people who have left the party and joined the BJP, Mr. Ghosal.
Afrida, there are two sides to this coin. One, if you ask me personal view, I don't see here much of anything else but opportunism. That's one. But secondly, electorally speaking, there are two sides to this coin. One, definitely some of the faces who have gone switched sides have definitely some following. Say Suvendu Adhikari, you named, he definitely was the second most popular leader after Mamata Banerjee in the ruling party. That's one. But second, what do you really make of now? You are taking these people and putting them in positions of command or leadership in a certain area of the state. Now, think of that average BJP worker
Right.
or district level leader who had to bear the brunt of Suvendu Adhikari's brand of politics over the last so many years. Now, suddenly you have the prospect of this gentleman, Mr. Adhikari, coming and sitting on your head and commanding you. So, how comfortable will you be in your shoes to put your entire might and throw it behind him in the
Yes.
battle of the elections? That's something.
Okay, I have very little time. I want to focus the last bit of the discussion on Nandigram, which is supposed to be the battle royale for the Bengal Tigress, Mamata Banerjee. One must admit that, yes, it shows a certain level of confidence on the part of Mamata Banerjee to make this change the last minute after having nurtured Bhawanipur for 2 terms. How important and why was this decision taken, Arpita Ghosh? And why do you believe that, Mamata Banerjee can take on Suvendu Adhikari successfully? Very quickly, just 1 minute to all speakers, please, on this.
My point is very simple. Mamata Banerjee took this look. Now this farmer issue is going on in Delhi. You have seen the farmers are sitting over there. And Nandigram is a place from where Mamata Banerjee started her fight, movement at that time, Singur Nandigram. So it is very important. So now Mamata Banerjee decided to fight from there only. And we are very, very confident that we will win the match.
Okay.
Suvendu was the candidate earlier, but don't forget that Suvendu was the candidate of TMC and under the leadership of Mamata Banerjee. So we are very, very confident that Mamata Banerjee will win.
Okay, so Indranil Khan, Suvendu had won this constituency under TMC. This time it's different. And by the way, Mr. Suvendu Adhikari said that he's going to quit politics if he loses. So there again, a lot of confidence, Indranil Khan.
Let him, it will be very sad, but let him quit because we are very, very confident that Mamata Banerjee will win. And
let's have the other speakers come in. I have to close the conversation after that. Indranil Khan on this, please.
Mamata Banerjee herself would have lost the Bhawanipur seat. Every exit poll was predicting that. Even her own ad agency in the same of IPAC or something, they also said that Bhawanipur is no more safe for her and she would have anyway lost it. And that's why she wanted a different seat and she chose Nandigram because she was challenged to do so. And after that, when she went to Nandigram, she declared herself as a candidate of the Nandigram. She found that Nandigram is also not as safe for her. And that's why while declaring the list of candidates, the jitteriness in her was revealed when she said that she may also contest from Taliganj, that is another state, because that will be going into the later phase of the polls. Because the reality on the ground in both Nandigram, in Bhawanipur, and across more than 200 constituencies of West Bengal.
All said and done, this is going to be the symbolic, in fact, of the larger contest. Avijit Ghosal, quick last word to you.
We will talk to you.
I think, Afrida, one must have to.
Surely,
one should
Avijit
wait.
Ghosal. Yes.
One should wait for the candidate that the alliance really pitches for that seat, because the fight will be close there. Believe me, Nandigram.
Okay.
And it will
That's
depend
an
on how
important
many
point.
votes
I've been asked to close the show on that point. I wish I had more time on this, but yes, big takeaways. What you just said also is important. We'll have to see what the other parties now put out as a candidate from Nandigram. That will be very, very closely watched in the overall contest. Of course, this is one of the states out of the 5 states going to polls, which will be watched closely for many, many reasons. It's a high-stakes battle. It's a prestige battle. For Mamata Banerjee, this of course is going to be critical going forward and for her political sustenance as well in the national scene. If she manages to win Bengal again, that will of course have many, many important repercussions. That's it for now. News and updates continue here on Mirror Now. Stay with us. Thanks for watching.